This almost certainly won't come across on camera, but it's very weird how your eyes kind of just key into this. You don't see it for a moment, and then all of a sudden you key into the 3D of it. Very weird. So I'm here with Aaron from Intel. He's going to give us a tour of the Intel booth here at BETT.
All right, good to meet you. Thanks for coming by. We got a lot of activity here in our Intel booth here at BETT 2024. To start us off, you're actually in the right zone. This is our walkway, and in the walkway, we have a slew of devices here you can interact with. Some things that show 3D displays, some of our skills for innovation packages, as well as Conmigo. This is a new app from the Khan Academy group that is going to be AI assistant for a lot of new educators and students, which will be really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the centerfold of it is actually what we call the faces of innovation. And in this experience, you can come by our booth, get your picture taken, and then we'll use Stable Diffusion to create a caricature of your face, and then it can be displayed here on our big LED walls. So something really fun. Double down on the AI PC storytelling.
Yeah, cool, yeah.
So that's here in the walkway. If we walk over to this side, we have a couple cool demos showcasing some of the demonstrations of what an AI PC really means and what it can do. Starting with this side, we actually have an Audacity app, and this is an open source music application, but we have integrated OpenVino AI tools into it. So OpenVino is actually another open source AI development kit, helped a lot by Intel, that can be added into many different softwares out there. There's currently tons of solutions actually, not just in education spaces, but medical, engineering spaces, STEM. It's just, open development means anybody can develop on it and integrate it into their application if they so choose. But here, what we're showcasing is you can actually separate music tracks into the chorus, the drums, the guitar, and even create the lyrics so you can have a really fun karaoke night.
So, okay, so you've got the main music track, and then the AI is separating it all out.
Correct. It will use AI to separate them cleanly, which, I'll admit, this idea has been out there in the past. But sometimes when you try to separate the tracks, you'll get a little bit of noise. But with the power of AI, we can now do this locally on our devices, and it'll make it a lot cleaner at the end of the day.
So you were telling me just a moment ago, it's your neural processing unit that you've added to your chips that are allowing you to do this kind of thing.
So here on our device, we actually have the task manager up and running right now, and on it, you were pointing this out here, we have an NPU. This is actually the differentiator of our new Meteor-like processors. It stands for a neural processing unit. And what it is an AI-specific workload hardware on the chip itself. It is on the chip with the CPU, with the GPU integrated in it. And it's designed for AI workloads. So things like doing the transcriptions, separating these music tracks. We have other demos of doing Stable Diffusion. But really what that means for us is when you have it hardware encoded on the device, you're no longer going to the cloud to do AI, which require more licenses, more expensive options, but to be able to give that AI to everybody.
Right.
That's really the key story here.
So that was going to be my question really, was the first question I asked your colleague was, we seem to be at this moment in tech where we're not sure whether are we going to do AI processing on the device, or are we going to be accessing the cloud? Is it going to be something that we need the hardware for, or do we put the hardware in the big data centers? So what's your kind of opinion on that? I mean, is this Intel banking on it being on the device, or is it actually sometimes you're going to use that on the device and sometimes you're going to do it in the cloud?
Well, I'll say Intel's taking a bite out of both apples there.
Right, okay.
It's no secret. I'm not trying to convince you that this AI on this PC locally is better than anything in a data center. It's not. There's different applications for where you would use that. But the concept of using the tools of AI can be done here. And then when you want to upgrade it to a greater workload, more enterprise workload perhaps, use the data centers.
Right,
and Intel also has data center solutions for this as well. But obviously there's other players in the game here too.
Yeah, so some of my Adobe apps that are going to be doing some neural processing, some of that's going to be done on the device rather than
correct. Yeah. And that's really the start, and kind of it is an inflection point really in industry.
Yeah.
Similar to how the internet and Wi-Fi became on devices, 20 plus years ago.
Yeah.
I think this is really a new wrench in a mechanic's tool chest or developer's tool chest that AI will be integrated in everything as we go forward. And we're just providing the solutions to do that.
Another interesting thing here about where we are in tech, like you say, definitely an inflection point. I was thinking, what year to come to BETT? I haven't been for a decade. This is the right one, isn't it? Because actually, not only that, we've got this seemingly AI revolution. Although there has been a lot of AI, ChatGPT just really had that moment, didn't it? Of wow, look what it can actually do now.
Right.
And we, at this point now, the big companies are really having to work together like more so than before, and you've got to really pick which end are you know what are you developing on your own in rivalry, and what are you developing with people. And it seems to be it's kind of nice to see the larger companies working together more on these things, and like say picking the things that are actually big collaborations and which of the things are going to be our own kind of proprietary
Totally.
things.
And you know, for us in the Intel side of things, the secret sauce is keeping it open sourced.
Right.
Because we don't want to tightly integrate all of our devices into one vertical. Let the community do it. The community is always going to end up being better than whatever a single business unit will be able to support.
Yeah.
But letting the community take on these challenges, explore them, create new ones, that's really what we want to be. PC everything, AI the world.
Fascinating. Should we have a little look around the last few minutes?
Yeah. So that was a music example,
demo,
right? And we'll go back later. We'll have our guy actually do the demo for you live.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Here on this side is another example of an AI use case. We're doing stable diffusion on the device locally.
Right.
So stable diffusion, by the way, is a text-to-image generation tool.
Yeah.
And we can do this locally on our device. There's lots of great options actually currently. You can do such things with many other graphic softwares out there right now. But being able to do it locally is really nice because you're not putting your resources in the cloud. You're not going through licenses. It's safe and secure on your device.
Yeah.
And that's a big piece for us.
And that's something that you need that neural processing unit to do. It's not something a GPU can handle.
So I'll be honest, it can do it on the GPU, but the advantage of doing it on the NPU is that it'll be better power efficiency when you do this workload.
Right.
Architecturally, the NPU is really designed to do vector-based workloads, while GPU is really designed to do matrix-based workloads.
Right.
And that's the difference.
Yeah.
We designed the NPU to do those workloads specific for AI on the device locally. So yes, the GPU can do it.
But also, I saw in a few of your videos, not your videos, but the videos that are made with Intel on the launch of this Meteor Lake, talking about how better they were in terms of power efficiency. So
that's right, yeah.
And anything to say about that? Is that specifically the NPU is better at doing those workloads, or is it just generally the whole chip is better?
I would say the whole chip is better. We have redesigned our whole architecture to make what we're calling the Meteor-like processors part of the best power efficiency story, and it's going to get better and better as we move on.
And is it like, obviously Apple have gone away from Intel.
Right.
And they've gone to ARM chips.
Correct.
Is Intel, is that going to happen with Intel? Are we going to have an ARM chip, or are we going to have a hybrid chip, or what's?
You know, Intel fundamentally is a manufacturing company, and I can't comment on what the future workloads are going to be with Intel, but we'll take a bite out of each apple because we produce them as well as design items. So because we are manufacturers, we can not just print our own stuff, we can take designs from other companies as well.
Right.
And we've been using x86 for as long as we can.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that.
Like it, good. And if just quickly show me what's going on here as well.
Yeah.
Focus on esports.
Yeah.
So did you get like a, this is a bit aside, I might even not leave this bit, but an interesting question. Did you get like a brief from BETT that esports was going to be a big deal this year? Like,
I did not, I didn't know, I guess. I kind of came in a little bit blind on that side of things. However, I'll admit fully, for me as an Intel employee, I'm actually here at Intel because I was a participant in an esports tournament called Intel Extreme Masters over a decade ago.
wow. Okay, yes.
Intel has been in the esports game since the beginning, before the term esports was around.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why we brought these devices here with us. So we actually built these cabinets up as a part of our ARC, Intel ARC graphics cards messaging. And we do take care of them around with us to our Intel Extreme Masters tournaments that are done globally. In fact, the next one's coming up here in about 11 days or so over in Poland.
Cool. Excellent, yeah. And we'll go over here. This is
So other items we got going on. This section is actually for skills for innovation. And skills for innovation, or SFI, is kind of bridging the gap between what capabilities that the hardware and software can do on Intel and how that applies to educators themselves. What are some new things that students would be encouraged to learn about from digital technologies, some AI applications? We have a VR demo, different things that people would think about of how to teach the next generation of all the capabilities that technology has at the table.
Yeah.
And that's part of, they have different packages here. They can have 3 demos going on at once. They could tell you a lot more in depth about each of those going on.
Cool. Awesome. And you want to just do the demo on the music one?
Yeah, let's go ahead and go over there.
So with Cody going to show us this demo. So I'm right to say, so you got the full track there, and you're going to separate that out to all this all its constituent parts with AI. Let's see it.
Absolutely. So this is Audacity. It's
yeah.
a free open source app, and Intel has partnered with a lot of different developers on our AI technology called OpenVino. And so we have an OpenVino framework. We're using this on a Core Ultra CPU, so Core Ultra 5, 125H. And the really cool thing about this CPU is we have a built-in Arc GPU, so it's a very powerful GPU compared to other laptops.
Right.
And we also have an NPU. Now, what does NPU stand for? An NPU is a neural processing unit, and that neural processing unit allows us to do vector translations really well. So vector compute, whereas your CPU can do integer compute really well, and your GPU can do matrix computations or even parallel processing really well. But this time, we're gonna use a little bit of each processor. I'm gonna go up here to our music, and I'll give you a little bit of a sample of what it sounds like. Sounds pretty nice.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and pause this, and we're gonna go up here to the effects and OpenVino AI effects, and we're going to use the OpenVino music separation. I'll go and apply this. Now, what is it doing right now? We've added a new feature to this application since it's open source. We were able to go in and add our OpenVino music separation. What it's doing is it's gonna take apart the music. It's one mixed and mastered track already. So we're gonna pull out the drums, pull out the bass and the guitar. We're gonna take that and pull out the vocals also. And then any like background instruments that we have, such as a piano or synth, that'll all go into one track as well. So for a 3-minute file, it takes about 40 seconds to do this. So this is actually faster than real time, which is pretty impressive. And it's all being done on the CPU and the GPU right now. So if you take a look down here, I'll pull up the GPU and this compute section.
Right, I see.
You can see it got up to 100% there several times. Now I'll go back to the NPU down here and we'll do the next part. Up top, I'm gonna get rid of our original file.
Yeah.
So now we just have the file with all of our broken out audio pieces. You've got drums on top, bass, other instruments. Now if I go over here, there's a big drum section. I'm gonna solo the drums, and now all we hear is the drums. So it's pretty neat. And I'll turn everything else back on. Let's go down to the vocals. We choose, say, this section right here. It's got a good amount of vocals. And I'm gonna just mute the vocals, and now we just have our background track. So the background track is playing. We're able to maybe just use it as background music, elevator music, call it. But I'm gonna unmute that one more time, pause the file, and there's one more thing that we can do. And this time we're gonna use the neural processor. And the neural processor right here will select the vocal channel for our track, and we're gonna go analyze the vocal channel. We're gonna use OpenVino whisper transcription to analyze it. And this is using our NPU, our neural processing unit, or our Intel AI boost as we call it.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna analyze the 3-minute file, and this is gonna turn our vocals into lyrics. So at the bottom here, as you can see, we've got the lyrics. And now if we play the song, you can sing along if you'd like. So you can hear her singing it. Now if we want to do something really cool and you invite all your friends around, we can turn this into an amazing karaoke night just by muting the vocals, and now it's your turn to sing.
That's how Intel does karaoke nights.
We do Intel karaoke nights.
Yeah,
This music is by Oshova. The song is called Our Fantasies. It's open, free to use for anyone online. And you can do all of this locally on the PC. So Intel Core Ultra, because it has the AI accelerators, you don't have to go up to the cloud, have a server do the work for you. You can do it all right here with this Core Ultra laptop. Right here we're using a Lenovo IdeaPad, and we also have an Acer device running Microsoft Copilot next to it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna ask them about that.
Have you seen Microsoft Copilot in action?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. What I'm really interested in, I think, is when is it going to come in and be integrated right in with the Office suite? That's what I'm looking for. You know?
Absolutely.
As a sort of teacher, I think having it, having it right in PowerPoint is going to be
It's
worth.
somewhat integrated with the Office suite. Let me show you something that I did earlier.
I'm doing a whole staff training actually next week on using AI to create lesson resources. So nice and quick. Just to, you need a quiz for your kids. You need
So I actually asked it earlier. I said, create me a grading matrix or rubric, I guess, for 4 things: writing, content, history, and geography. And So it gave me a template here. We have excellent, good, satisfactory, needs improvement. And now a teacher could take this and go spend 20 minutes editing it to finalize it instead of spending multiple hours trying to define the rubric for grading.
So was this automatically built into Excel, or did you build it here and then copy?
I built it here, copied the text into Excel, changed the color of it, and we're here. But you can also ask Excel, open Excel, and now it'll listen to what we want. It's sending it up to the cloud. Are you sure you want to open the app? Of course, I want to open Excel. And here we go. It opened Excel. We have a blank workbook, and we can paste in any content here that we'd like, or start creating our own.
But you can't, for instance, say to it yet, make me a spreadsheet with my rubric ready to go.
I haven't been able to.
So when it's going to really make it for most teachers is when the button's in here, and it's just like add a slide for this, add a question here which tests them on this.
Right, so the large language model isn't quite as integrated into Microsoft to use Office like that, so it'll tell you how to do it instead of actually doing it for you at this time.
So I suppose
may work on that in the future, we'll see.
We've got this distinction between the large language model and large action model, which was CES Rabbit R1 brought that that new term to us all.
Right, so the actual generation piece of it isn't quite there for the Office suite, but there is some generative AI that we can use with ChatGPT, which is using DALL-E 3. DALL-E 3 is built in, so what we can do is say, create me an image of, what do you want to see?
The first thought is always like, a cat. What's the cat doing?
Okay.
Don't bother with a cat. Forget a cat. Go on, a student studying physics, that'll be better. A student doing a physics experiment. Go on, I'm a physics teacher.
Are they in a classroom or are they on a mountaintop?
Oh, like in a mountaintop. Why not? On a mountaintop, yeah.
Okay. So now the first part here we'll use the large language model.
Right.
And the large language model is going to go up to the cloud, figure out what we're asking it to do, and then it'll send that back down and over to DALL-E 3.
Right.
And DALL-E 3 will start processing the image, as you can see right here.
Yeah.
So now that data that we've input into the LLM is going to DALL-E 3 for a stable diffusion process.
Right.
And that stable diffusion process is a separate AI algorithm. So the stable diffusion is being calculated on a server for DALL-E 3, which is built into Microsoft Copilot. Right. So in a moment here, it'll give us a few different images to choose from, and we can choose one, take a look at it in the Edge browser.
Yes, this is the interesting thing, I think, like whether you're doing AI on the computer or... But I suppose also what people will need to do more of is they'll need to be able to code for these AI... well, there you go.
There we are. So he's doing a physics experiment on a mountaintop.
He is.
He's got his goggles on. Make sure he stays safe.
What's he got there?
That's an interesting tool there.
I think I've got a feeling where he's measuring a very small change with this little thing here. I imagine it almost looks like a G pendulum. I think he's studying the difference between gravity at top and bottom, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah.
And you see he has a clock there to see maybe how long it takes to equalize the weights. He has something very dense on the side there, since it's even, and the larger metal ball is less dense. So very interesting.
Reminds me of one of Einstein's great experiments was tracking a muon from the top of the Swiss Alps down to the bottom. So he had to use a mountain, and he worked out that if that same muon had gone that distance, it would have to, in that time, it would have had to have broken the speed of light. So it's the kind of one of the proofs of like special relativity, basically, that like the time had changed for that muon. Yeah, it wasn't that you can't break the speed of light. The universe says no. So the only option is that time must have slowed down for that muon.
For that moment.
So that's what he's doing, I think.
It's pretty neat.
I do reckon the large language model's gone like, let's surprise them. Let's try and impress them. They don't just want a cat like everybody else. These guys want a physics experiment on top of a mountain. Very nice.
Cat videos are from 3 years ago, right?
Yeah,
So this is, again, Microsoft Copilot running on our Acer laptop. It's our latest generation Core laptop.
Yeah.
And over here we had our Core Ultra laptop.
Yeah.
Again, we learned about audio creation and editing with Audacity and our OpenVino plugins, which we have OpenVino plugins in many other applications, like video editing as well. Power Director is one of them. Blackmagic has a video editing software that we have AI
DaVinci, right?
DaVinci Resolve, exactly.
Okay, great, yeah.
So a lot of different apps in the ecosystem that use our OpenVino framework to do make people's lives easier and make tasks quicker.
Yeah, and is that the NPU, the neural processing units, just on the latest generation?
The NPU is only on our Core Ultra devices.
Yeah, Core Ultra.
So
and
if
the
I go
latest.
down here, Core Ultra 125H is the one that we have here, but we have Core Ultra 3, Core Ultra 5, Core Ultra 7, and Core Ultra 9.
Thank you. Thanks so much for your time. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it. It's a great
Appreciate
demo.
it. Thanks
See,
for taking a
we
look.
knew you should have been mic'd up. Excellent, excellent work.